Hi, good afternoon. My name is George Harris. I'm a data protection officer with Data Privacy Services, and this video today is about the top 5 reasons why you need to comply with GDPR or UK GDPR. So let's talk about reason number 1 first, and that's quite straightforward really. It's a simple legal requirement. GDPR came into force on the 1st of May 2018, and since the transition from Brexit, it's now called UK GDPR. But the bottom line with this is that this is a legal requirement for any organisation that processes personal data of individuals, which is personal identifiable information. It isn't an option. You have to comply with the law. Right, so simple, reason number 1. Reason number 2, let's be honest, there is massive fines if you do not comply with the legislation. Now, previously, there's always been fines for non-compliance with data protection, but since GDPR came into force, these fines have now become headline news, really. They're 4% of the group turnover or £20 million, whichever is the greater. So you might think, well, do people really get fined that? In reality, yes, they do. So if you have a data breach, typically you will be fined at least 4% of your group turnover. So if there's a number of companies involved, it will be at the group level. It won't be at the individual entity level either. So these fines are really significant and can obviously very much damage your business. Enforcement action is taken quite regularly as well. This information can be found on the ICO's website as part of this blog. The links to that. So let's talk about reason number 3. Well, reason number 3 is non-compliance with data protection legislation can seriously impact your growth potential. Business partners have a legal obligation to check if their suppliers are going to be compliant with the legislation, because they have to ensure that anybody who processes their data is going to do so in a compliant way and is going to do what they need to do to keep that data safe. Because otherwise, that organization, that customer organization, is going to be considered to be negligent if you cause them a data breach. So if you aren't compliant, you will be asked to provide evidence, and it will be evident that you aren't compliant. So you are not likely to get the business. So let's talk about the 4th reason. If you are complying with the Data Protection Act, you are much more likely to reduce the risk of a cyber attack. And that's because you're doing what you need to do to ensure that data is safe. It's going to be a lot harder for that data to be compromised. So the legal requirement under Article 32 is that you're doing everything in your power to keep the data safe. And if you're doing that, it's pretty difficult or more difficult for some malicious person or group to basically attack your data. So that's a really important thing, because you do not want to be subject to a cyber attack, because it can be very disruptive and also can cost you money in relation to fines as well. So the last reason is to really uphold your reputation as an organization. If you are found to be non-compliant with the Data Protection Act, that is publicly available. It's published on the ICO's website. It often gets published in the media. It can be headline news if it's a big data breach and there's lots of personal data involved. So that can be ultimately so seriously damaging to your brand and the confidence that your customers have in you, that it could ruin your business. So thanks for listening today. They're the top 5 reasons why you need to comply with the Data Protection Act. I'm George Harris from Data Privacy Services, and I'll be happy to discuss any of these points with you if you'd like to get in contact with us. Thanks very much.